very exciting when something new appears right then and there in the process, much more than the finished piece. It's that spark through the sketching or through the just throwing things about that where the real creativity comes from. I've always made things. As a child, I loved making things, starting with models, model airplanes, and all the things that kids make as plastic models and wood balsa models and all those. I just like working with materials and manipulating materials, and have worked with weaving and painting through the years. About 1974, there was a renaissance in stained glass going on. It had been out of favor in the art world for decades. And then for some reason in the early 70s, it sparked and really took off. Manufacturers started making more sheet glass around the country and became aware of that and started doing stained glass. Later discovered fusing, which was an offshoot of the stained glass work, that people wanted to have more freedom, more ability to work like painters rather than craftsmen assembling pieces. When I became aware of it, I started doing that. And that switched me from stained glass to diffusing completely. Twyla is a much more determined craftsman that is going to get that piece done and get it done right. And she brought a whole level of improvement in the craftsmanship of our pieces. At that time we were doing stained glass. There's more craftsmanship required in that than there is in fusing. Fusing is more quick ideas, like painting. It happens fast. Whereas the stained glass pieces are built slowly. She can put in 60 to 200 hours into one piece. My mind could not allow that. I couldn't finish a piece that took that long. And now, what Twyla has shifted to is building what we call components. The smaller, tiniest pieces. She'll make them out of powders, whether they're leaves or petals or stems or whatever we're working on. She builds most of those, and then I store them and put them together in a finished piece by assembling them and working on what I call a sketchboard, which is a light table where light comes from beneath through a clear piece of glass, and I will sprinkle pieces about and shift them, move them to where I start to get an idea and then build off of that. I cannot duplicate a piece. It just doesn't work for me. It takes control to duplicate something, and control in art is, I would say, a bad thing for the most part. As soon as I started controlling it and making it the way I think it ought to be, it becomes so uninteresting. Being too literal or too controlled, you lose spontaneity, the fantasy, that spark in a person when they look at something they're not quite sure what it is and they need to examine it further and get a better feel for it. And that's hard to do. It's difficult to know where to stop with a line. It's just part of the process. And I can't tell you how many pieces I've thrown away or, just they were so bad. And they can't be fixed because you can't, again, if an area is too dark, you're not going to lighten it, so it's gone. I think many artists will tell you that they overworked the piece and wish they could go back to 5 minutes ago or whatever the time frame is because they had it and they didn't realize it, and then I'll say, ruined the piece for them, and they're not happy with it. That's happened to me many times, and there again lies a problem. Where do you stop? Because you'll get so many times get to a place where I think I'm done with something, and then I realize, no, it needs something else. And that can be days later, weeks later, months later, minutes later. You never know. It's just part of that whole, it's really a wonderful experience. I mean, completely exhilarating. It's exciting. And it lasts for days even, it depends, yeah. Left glass for as long as 2 years throughout that time span, just because of the shift in my interest and the way ideas come to me and my needs is to make different things in different ways. It's just something I have to do.